Hello and welcome to Stormhaven. I'm Nicola.
Hello, Mark.
This fortnight we've got a few interesting things. We're minus children of all things.
Yeah, they're holidaying abroad.
They are. They're in Japan. By the time you see this though, they'll actually be back. What have we got happening?
Well,
we have the great potato puzzle.
We've got an update on some of our bulbs.
Yep.
A little bit on the roses.
Fertilising time. Well, for some things.
Yeah, a range of things like that. Just out and about, braving the weather and trying to get a little bit done.
We'll see you through the episode.
Yeah, bye. We got Nicola's hyacinths. They're coming along really well. I think in a couple of others we've mentioned before. If not, we'll mention it again. That we didn't lift these this last year. We left them in to see how they go. They've all been going at a different rate as far as they're coming back. But anyway, you got some lovely colours. We've had a few flower and drop off already, but the different colours are coming through and they're looking pretty good. The petunia and the lavenders are just, they've gone wild. But yeah, that's the main game, is the hyacinths, and they're looking good. One of the new roses, it is the blushing knockout. Isn't it gorgeous? So that's only one of the new ones that we've planted just recently. And it's so pretty. And so begins the great potato journey of 2024. Compost, fertiliser, tubs, mulch, potatoes, which
Blood
are handy. Blood and bone.
Blood and bone.
So what you do?
It's a third of a tub of mulch, and then it's about a handful of fertiliser and a handful of blood and bone, and then depending on whether it's a determinate or an indeterminate potato, you do one layer or two. Wrong hand.
So we put the potatoes in straight on top of the fertiliser?
No, we're going to mix it all through. I just got to get my glove on.
Yep. And the potato sits on top of that?
Yeah.
Doesn't burn it?
Yeah.
It doesn't burn it?
No. No. But they're already chitted too, so...
Which is what you wanted.
Yeah. Right, there's one.
And then we're putting them on the pallets over there.
Yeah.
And we found the pallets are better because if they get a wet base, then they sit on the ground.
And they rot out.
Quite windy today. Fair breeze actually.
2 tubs, please. Alright, ready? Okay, so what I have here is I actually have my Pontiac potatoes. So yes, I go and buy my seed potato every year. Pontiacs are a determinate potato, which means they grow on one level. So with a Pontiac, I can actually do 2 levels of planting. So I now have my mulch with my fertiliser and my blood and bone, well mixed. 2 potatoes, and I like to put them between the handles for the first row, so I know where I've put them. Then we'll put another third of a layer on. We'll do the same thing again, so it'll be a scoop of fertiliser, a scoop of blood and bone, mixed well. Then I'll put 2 more potatoes in each tub, so 1 here and 1 here. Then we'll cover them, mulch them, and put them on the side to grow. Okay, so before I put a potato here and a potato here, we've now put the second third on of dirt. So it's the mulch, it's the blood and bone, it's the fertiliser, well mixed. As you can see, you might see bits of it in there still. And then a potato on the handles. The reason for that is I know I've got 2 here and 2 there. Makes it easier for me to track the actual growth. So then all we'll do, we'll just put a layer of dirt on like we did with that one over there. I've got some sugarcane mulch to go down over the top to bed them down, and off we go. Right, that one's ready to be done. Okay. This is the pink eye. Now one of the things I have done it had a lot of extra eyes, which I've actually taken off. The reason for that is because you actually want it to grow no more than two bushes, I guess, off it. Otherwise, you're going to get lots of little potatoes. This is a way of increasing the size of the potatoes. Yep.
What are these ones?
Okay, so these are the Nadines. Nadines are an indeterminate, which means that they grow over multiple levels, which means you only actually need to plant one layer. So I actually had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 of them. So 2 in each of those, except that one which has 3. They're now ready to fill and mulch.
Kayla's been helping with the gardening, and she's had a bone, and she's had such a big day. It's so tough being a gardening dog.
Alright, over here we have, these tubs are all mulched, so we actually have 3 varieties already down. So we've got our Pontiacs, our Pink Eye, and our Nadines. So after we've got them in place, we put, in this case we're using sugarcane mulch. Now a good layer of sugarcane mulch will help with evaporation of water, meaning you don't need to water as often. The other thing it does is it keeps it that little bit warm. Any sunlight coming through, it'll warm those potatoes and start them. The thing we know we've got at least one more frost this next week, maybe a couple more, but they're all still really well below the surface, so that's fine. Being the end of July, we are 1 month left of official winter. We should be good. They shouldn't be past the mulch by the time we've had the last frost.
So what breed are this pair?
These are Sebagos. So again, I'm doing the 2-layer planting on these. So we actually had 8, so that's 2 tubs. So 2 layers of 2, 4 potatoes in each tub.
They're done. What you putting in these ones?
These are the Keflers.
So why are you using the polystyrene, not your tubs?
Part of it's because I've run out of tub space. Part of it's because they're a long potato, so I can fit them in lengthways.
And how many go in each tub?
These ones are going to be 3 in a tub. So
3 in a tub, and the little one said, grow potatoes. This was our pot of baby Gladdies, the little pups that come off. So we've just put some cardboard down in this bed, starting to get it ready. So we're going to empty the pot out and sift through and see how they grew. They actually grew really well on the pot. They won't flower for a year or 2 yet because they were the teeniest weeniest ones. So we're going to have a look at what size bulbs we got. Yeah, they're emptied, and like when you think of how these little blokes started off as just those little teeny weeny dots. So and that was the idea of putting them in the pot, just to let them oh, look at him. Yeah, let them grow, and none of them flowered, which wasn't the point. It was to get them to develop into decent bulbs. I was trying to find one that's similar. That's probably even still a bit bigger than what they started off as. This little fella, would be very close. Couple of these, this is why we need to get them out, we're starting to reshoot in winter when they wrong time of wrong time of year for them. Anyway, there'll be a couple of casualties because of that, but that is, if you can, as I said, imagine that they started off as those little tiny blokes, and this is the crop we got. So actually we might be better than what I hope. We might get a flower out of a couple of these larger ones next year. If not, doesn't matter. This guy's gone like gangbusters. Yeah. But if we don't get a flower out of them next year, that doesn't matter. We will in the next year or 2. Well, new location for our tulips this year, and that's the remnants of what we had last year. And I think in an earlier video we talked about how a bit disappointing last year was. But that's a that looks like a Gladdy bulb hiding in there.
I'll put that in my pocket.
They're still coming to the surface. These we bought 4. There's at least another fella just about to break through the surface there, and there's one coming through now. So they're the newer bulbs. I don't think we fridged them.
No.
No, so the back ones
We bought those and they basically
went straight in. So the back ones had 6 weeks in the free crisper this year, so it was a little bit longer than we have done in the past.
But they're quite happy.
They look very happy. So Nicola's just throwing some fertilizer on them. I think we've had 1 or 2 that haven't kicked, but given the state they were in last year, they're actually doing darn well. So hopefully we'll get some flowers. This is Nick, just walking down to the shed and putting some fertilizer on them.
This is Nicola's folly.
Yep. So go. You can see the yellow and the purple, and they're trying to give them a bit of a feed. So we're not being big, well, not big on doing this. We've never really got around to it. So it'll be interesting to see if it makes any difference for us this year.
Biggest problem we've got is this.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's just going absolutely wild.
Well, I started filming when went away down to the hyacinths. The flag is westerly winds all day today, and it's actually getting quite bitter again. So we're finishing off our outside jobs and heading in for inside jobs. Okay, we think this might be a naughty puppy's handiwork. You fertilised this the other week?
Yeah, last weekend.
So she's going around trying to dig out the fertiliser and eat it, you know, because we're desperate and never get any treats and never get anything nice. So we'll just have to plant them back in and hope for the best.
Okay.
Here we have Nicola on the little mower. We've just chopped up a little barrel load of wood. That'll offset the wood that we've got up at the house at the minute.
We're getting low.
Oh yeah, apparently.
But it's the end of winter.
Yep. And then we've been just working on this wood pile, and we've got a fair bit cleaned up already. And the cows are over there. They've been watching us. There's Daisy. Darius. Where did Darius get to?
Just there.
Oh, he's in the trees. He's like a predator waiting to pounce.
He's been coming up closer and closer. He's getting better with us.
Yep. So anyway, so that's this morning's effort. Our first tulip of the season is one of the purple ones from last year. So I really didn't expect them to reflower, given they flowered last year. So yeah, that's a bonus. As I said, the others are all, this year is reconsolidating and making bulbs. These would be the three new ones that we got, so they may flower, or should flower. This one will be interesting. He's looking not too bad, so he may. But as I said, I would be really surprised to see the others flower. But anyway, that is a lovely bonus.
Down here in the chook pen, and I'm feeding them, as you can see. Whoop! And falling over the net. Oops. Sorry about that. Nearly lost everything, including my glasses. We're back to having a bowl in here because, once again, we're having a problem with the water system. So, on the weekend we came in and it was leaking again, this time from the bung. So we went and got the silicone and we siliconed it up. And you would think, yay, surely, excuse me, gonna grab an egg. Oh, like that. And you would think that that should be about it. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It started leaking again down here. Now, the last step is that we silicone up this side totally, which is certainly a viable option, or we give up and we put another watering system in. Well, fortunately, I actually did invest in some other watering options. So yes, we've put this in here and filled it, and yes, it needs to be filled again. But what we're going to do, at the end of the water special, I talked about how we were going to... Oh, look, there's an egg in there too. I love that spot. It's right up the very corner. One of the things that we could do is a waterer that's a bucket and 4 little self-filling water bowls. The self-filling water bowls came in the mail yesterday. I have the bucket with the lid. We're actually going to trial that. We'll leave the other one in the short term, but we'll see how long that lasts us in case I need to get a second one so that we have enough water to get us through an entire week. The other good thing with that is that although we'll still have that bowl over there and the self-watering system that doesn't work, or that we just don't seem to be able to get it together, whoop, they're down here telling me what they want, we'll put the 2 buckets in here. So there'll probably be one out here and one in their main sleeping area. And then we're going to actually use the same system in the duck and goose pen. Now, by doing that, we'll be able to have them reasonably self-sufficient too. Because the idea with the duck and the goose pen is that it will only be... Oh, look at that. Naughty hen. The idea is that that will... allow us to water them for the period of time that we're growing them, because our plan is to get fertile eggs. We'll put them in our incubator, we'll incubate them, we'll bring them out. We actually have a very small pen up on the veranda that we bought some time ago. I had planned to do this beforehand. We had the one chicken that died, unfortunately. It was the only one that came out, and I think that came down to the fertility of Casanova. So what that leaves us with is the need to get duck and geese eggs. We'll incubate them, we'll grow them, and that'll be about 12 weeks, maybe 16 at most, and then they'll be going in the freezer. So the long-term plan with that, we actually have some work being done maybe next weekend, which I'll show you later on when I've got a few more details. But one of the things we will do is we'll be sinking the holes, getting the uprights. I've got to go and buy a gate. I've got to go and buy the uprights, 10 of those and a gate and some latches and things like that. And then we'll be able to do the next little bit. I'm actually really excited about that. It is one of the things that I've actually wanted to do for a long time. So yeah, there's a little bit happening. I mean, some things are a step backwards, every step forward that you take, and then other things are going ahead really well. But anyway, I'll give you some more information on that as we do the closing section. Well, we're at the end of another episode. There's been quite a few things happening. The one thing, I'll get it out of the way first,
is a wobbly camera.
The chook waterer has driven us crazy, because guess what? It's leaking again.
Dang.
Yeah, dang. So 7 weeks. This time silicon is our friend, so we've used lots of silicon, and even that hasn't worked. So
that was on the base, on the sump, and what it was...
on the plug.
On the sump plug thing. The plastic is so soft. That was one of the things what we said in the little chook water video. And when we siliconed up the sump plug, then this last weekend, the side where it actually joins into the little float device from the external side of the... Is it aluminium? Metal? Aluminium?
Probably aluminium.
Probably aluminium. We could get forgetful chooks. But anyway, it started leaking at the side again, so whether it's moved a little bit anyway. So we're just doing a daily fill-up of it, and we'll have another look and see what's caused that.
But meanwhile, our new watering cups have arrived. So what I've got to do, I don't know if I'll get it done this weekend. I'd like to. I might even get it done tomorrow. We'll see. We have a bucket with a lid, and I need to drill 4 holes in the sort of bottom side of it. And this sort of screws off. I'll show you properly when I do the actual installation. But the water goes in through here, that goes through, and you put this wing nut back on. This fills, it has a little doodad thing on the base that apparently tells it when it's full. Who knows? And so after it's full, it turns itself off and sits. And then as they drink it, it goes back to this position and it refills again. So I've got 4 of those. We've got one 20-litre bucket that we're going to try, and we'll see how long that lasts for. We may need to buy a second bucket yet, and if that's the case, that's fine. These aren't very expensive, so I'm happy to go and get more. Mark said he was talking to somebody at work the other day, and they used it, but the one drawback they found is that they do get a bit messy.
They clog up.
And that's fine. I'm happy to clean and remove them and redo
Have
them
to
from
hit them
time
with
to
the
time.
hose every so often and clean them out.
Yep. So there's that. We planted potatoes, lots and lots and lots of potatoes. There are still more to go in. We haven't planted the Dutch creams, and then I've got all my little seed potatoes that are homegrown, and they'll probably go down in the next couple of weeks. You may or may not see that, I don't know, it'll depend. But that'll give us a succession planting too.
First tulip you had seen. So we didn't, as repeating myself, but didn't really expect any flowers out of the old bulbs because last year was such hard and we ended up all the little bulbs. So this year was to get the foliage and get the bulbs growing. But anyway, we got one out of last year's batch, so fingers crossed we might get a couple more. Looking very pretty.
And we got a camellia out.
Yeah, I would think out of season, but anyway, it's happy.
It is. Okay, so we've got quite a few things that are coming up. We're going to go and do a hay run this weekend. We'll try and get some video of that. There's some work over the next couple of weeks that's going to start in the entry to Stormhaven. This is another aspect of the pre-wedding organisation. We're going to have lots of that between now and next March.
Getting a bit of gravel on the driveway, basically.
And fixing up the entry.
Anyway, all good.
So that's about all for this fortnight. You get to see lots of potato stuff, lots of flower stuff, and the dreaded chook waterer update. So we'll see you again in about 2 weeks. And I am sorry this is really late. It's actually Tuesday night, but life kind of got in the way.
Anyway, keep safe, be good. Bye.
See you next time. And just like that, it's the end of another episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you found something useful in it, please feel free to like this video. You can also comment down below. We do love to talk to subscribers. If you found something useful or you think you've got a friend who might find it useful, please feel free to share this video with them. And of course, as always, you can subscribe to our channel and that way you'll never miss out on what we're getting up to here at Stormhaven. So I'm actually on the outside looking in. There he is. He's in the cage again. We got it. Eureka! So what we've ended up doing, the mighty plumber's tape came in handy again. We've had to tighten everything up, including the input there. And we've used a couple of small pots underneath it so that, hang on, I'll just see if I can get in and you can see. So just so that it's at the height we want it and it's not going to move again. So with a bit of luck, that's it.